It is now live.
Texted the real kid
The realest of kids, of children.
live. I
Hey, I gotta. Woo. Okay. All right. This is just nice. Okay. I'm gonna explain to you after the stream, just to let you know what's up. Cause woo. All right. Let me see if my face. All right. My Facebook is now live. All right. Cool. 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 So yo, what's up, guys? Today on Let's Be Real, we're gonna be talking about friendships and relationships. Just more of the aspect and like what we feel like they should consist of. Uh, and addressing things like, of course, like if somebody's truly there for you or when to cut people off, like that kind of thing. Um, the biggest I would say thing, especially, is that, of course, the longevity of things, right? Like you can have friends for a day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we've all been there. You go to like a work or school orientation, you meet someone, they're like, oh, you a cool person, you know what I mean? And you never see them again. Like I mean that's just how it goes. But in regards to like, you know, the meaning behind it, and oftentimes with that longevity, does it mean more for the longevity or does that actually not really matter as much? So with that being said, let's start off. We're gonna grind. So it goes from friendship to relationship. So we're
mm,
gonna start with the friendship first. All right. So in regards to that, Jared,
mm.
how do you feel? Well, first of all, what do you consider a friend? Let's just say that. Like, what do you consider friendship?
I mean, friendship. I would I would technically call it a transaction of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just not necessarily monetarily based or materialistically based. So with friendship, obviously you can get companionship out of that. You can get potentially hell, you can get a teacher out of that. You get someone that you can bounce ideas off of. I mean, I, I mean, a transaction is honestly like the it's a casual transaction. I guess would be like an interesting way of putting it. Now,
A character
mm,
transaction,
casual
casual
transaction.
transaction. Okay, okay, I'll give you that.
Now, obviously, depending on how close you are with someone, the level of that transaction can like shift. This could be someone you could just like text every 3 days, be like, "Hey, what's up, man? Nothing much." Or this could be someone that's like you can come to with like life problems, or it's like, or if y'all are like that, it's like someone's like, "Yo, man, I got kicked out of my house. Is it okay if I crash on your couch?" And they're like,
Levels
"Hell
to
yeah,
this
come
shit.
over."
Levels to this
Yeah.
shit. Okay, 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 okay.
So
All
what
right.
about you?
Basically the same thing, but with the levels, of course, you gotta emphasize the levels. Like I have friends that I honestly would not want them in my house, but I also have friends where if they were kicked out their house, they could stay with me for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever. Um, I also do believe that it's more about a mutual agreement, like
Mm,
a mutual backing, right? Um, and it doesn't even have to be like, support wise. It could be something as simple as, let's go hang out somewhere.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? And that's where people kind of vary, is because of the fact that, like, you have a friend that you hang out with all the time, but you don't come to them with your problems.
right.
Okay? And then you have a friend that you come to with your problems, but you guys probably hang out once a year. You know what I'm saying? Like those things happen. Um, for me personally, though, like one thing we have to establish is convenient relationships, right? Convenient relationships are basically when you're friends with somebody, right? It could feel genuine, it could feel everything until the setting changes. And by that I mean the typical, right? This is the typical one, high school friends,
Right.
right? The amount of people who are convenient in regards to high school varies. Right now, of course, I'm not saying you can't have friends from high school and then have those friends for the rest of your life. Like we see plenty of that, right? It's just the fact that if you were ever confused as to why you don't talk to certain people from high school anymore is because the convenient factor is gone. Right? Again, you guys could have been genuine friends. You guys could have gone through shit. But what made you friends could have been the fact that you guys had to see each other every day. Right? And since you had to see each other every day, you made it easier on yourself to be friends with that person. Right? It could have been personal joy, could have been excitement, could have been just somebody to talk to. But that kind of friendship happens a lot. So whenever you feel like, oh, I don't talk to this person anymore as much, it's because of the fact that your background, whatever you guys were meeting at, has changed. Now, is that a fake friendship? No, it's not fake at all. It just comes down to the fact that you sound a bit low. Yeah, I'm gonna put myself up a bit. I got you. So is this more for the fact that, like, thank you, by the way, Ash. Is this more for the fact that, like, you know, if you guys are truly friends, right? If you're people that want to be in each other's life, then that background thing, that setting thing can be, overlooked. You know what I'm saying? So you may not hang out every day like you did in high school,
Hmm.
but you can hang out once a month. Nothing stops you from doing that, right? As an adult, you learn there's no such thing as too busy, right? Obama himself wasn't too busy, right? Bush himself wasn't too busy. Everybody that we would deem as too busy is not too busy, right? It's just more about prioritizing, right? In regards to that, I mean, it could be timing, right?
Hmm.
It could be I'm free Saturday, but you're not free until Sunday. It could be I'm cool at 7 p.m., but you're cool at 12 midnight. You know what I'm saying? Like, all those things can come into factor, right? And the biggest part for me, though, is when there's no mutual agreement to it. So it's, let's find something that correlates and is compatible with us both. You understand me?
Hmm.
In high school, we did that constantly. Let's go to lunch. Let's hang out after school. Let's take the train, take the bus. You know what I'm saying? We did that constantly. We didn't have to, but it shows you that once we entered adulthood, once we left that background in that setting, you weren't thinking about that situation as much. You was thinking more about what's convenient and inconvenient for you.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because the last thing I want to tell you, because as soon as I get home from work, you hit me up at 7 p.m. saying, yo, let's go somewhere. Now you inconvenience to me. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I want to lay down. But at the same time, depending on who the person is and what you're gonna do, you may go, let's go. Right? Now my situation at home doesn't change, right? But I had to choose between if it's convenient or not. Either way, I'm free. But I had to choose, do I want to do it? You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it goes. So with that being said, though, Jared, what are the type of people do you think people should consider friends? What are the types? Because they vary, and it's not all good, but it's not all bad either.
I mean, honestly, the best kind of friends, in my opinion, and like I would say actually a good portion of my friends are this way, are people that you can generally discuss almost anything with. Now, when I mean anything, I don't mean like all your life problems. I don't necessarily mean that, but it's like you could just like bounce the topic off and they'll be like, all right, cool. Well, what do you mean by that? Like, because if you have someone who's just like, say you have a super serious friend who's just all about like, go to work, I gotta pay my bills, taxes and shit. Like, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey man, you wanna go to see the movies? Nah, man, movies are dumb. That's just a waste of time. Like, bro, that's a terrible friend. that's
See, I don't know. I don't know if that's a terrible friend, because that could be somebody you use as an example in your circle to go, when I need to get my shit together, this is a person I can talk to.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you gotta. There's levels to it, bro.
Or it's like levels. Or this is like that. This is my like financial friend, for instance. Like if that's all they're like, if that's all they do all the time, it's like this is the person I go to with this kind of question, or
Yep.
I have a question
Yep.
with that.
There you go.
And then you have your open friends who is like, oh, this person is basically like the whole rainbow. I can talk anything with them.
Hmm.
Or if you're like, I just want to mess around, you got your one homie over here who you know like that's all they're about. So
Okay. Okay. Valid. Valid. Uh, anything else? Anything else with it?
hmm. I was about to say non-judgmental friends, but that just might be that just like judging you to your face. You don't know.
Yeah. Nah. Let's be
People
real.
judge.
If you have a non-judgmental friend, something's wrong.
True.
That's the whole point of friendship, is to judge each other, right?
Hmm.
Like, what's the point of being friends if you're not gonna tell me when I'm doing shit? You know what I'm saying?
True.
Because one of the biggest things in general that I think people lack is people tend to have a lot of yes men or yes women around them, right? You should do this, yeah. Like you could say something as simple as, "I'm about to go wrestle that alligator," if you're from Florida, and your
I
friends are
did
like,
not do
"Yeah."
that.
Friends are like, "Yeah, go ahead, crocodile hunter." You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you're gonna have a lot of yes men, there has to be an equal amount of balance to somebody that just goes no, right? If you have, let's say, if you have a group of 10, right? If you have 9 people saying yes,
You.
that one person saying no should have more power over one individual saying yes. You know why? Because you have all these people telling you one thing, but nobody telling you the other thing. So when the only time we make rational decisions is when we weigh both decisions on equal
Mm.
setting, right? We both got work to do. We got jobs, right? Rational is get up, get your money, and go to work.
Mm.
Irrational is work is gonna be there tomorrow anyway. Sleep, don't tell nobody, right? Right. So then it's like, okay, let's weigh the options, and we weigh these options every day. Because how many times did you wake up and go, "Do I really need this job?" How many times did you wake up and go, "I just feel like sleeping," and all that stuff? You know what you tend to do? You start to weigh the consequences, and you start to see which one is not only convenient for you, but which one is going to benefit you the most. Right? That's how friendship, in my opinion, should be. Now, I also think you should have irresponsible friends. Right? Their word holds no weight, but they funny as shit. Right? like will I ever listen to them on advice? No. But when we out, I'm enjoying their company.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They can come to me for advice. I ain't gonna listen to them for advice because I know their advice is bad. You understand me? Like, a lot of people think it should be like just one side of friendship. Like, everybody thinks it should be one type of friendship. Everybody needs to have your back no matter what, everything like that. I don't think that's the truth. Because all right, just to put in perspective, how many people on your Facebook list do you know? How many of them do you know? Right? I think the average person on Facebook, if you started in like 2010,
Mm.
you probably have about at least 600 people on your friends list. Why don't you have 600 DMs? You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you have 600 DMs? Why do you have the lowest version of DMs compared to how many people you're friends with? Because you're not necessarily friends with them, or you know your limitations with each person. Right? I got friends on my Facebook where I'm just commenting on shit. Sometimes it'll be basketball arguments, sometimes it'll be politics. I ain't gonna lie, the one on politics, would I invite them to my house? No. But damn sure we're gonna have a conversation in the comments, right? Then you got another person that's probably in your DM and every day, like, "Hey, how you doing?" Or, "I just saw this meme," or, "I just saw this video." You have those types, right? There's levels to friendship, but you also gonna know the types. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what you are, and you got to know your relationship with each person.
Mm.
So, with that being said, I think there's no such thing as fake friends. in my opinion, right? Because the whole point of them being your friend was convenience. You used them and they used you. The only difference between fake friends and real friends is the real friends continue to do it. You feel me? I can
I
have
got
your back 24/7, but what am I expecting in my head? If I'm in trouble, this person got my back too. That's what you expect. It's like car insurance. It's like insurance. I'm paying you money in case something happens. That's what friendship is. I'm giving you my effort in case I need that effort back. You feel me?
you.
It's not.
You're right.
It doesn't have to be like I gave you $20. Give me $20. No, it ain't gotta be something like that. But it gotta be. I gave you $20 10 years ago. Can you at least give me $1 today? That's how it is. It's more. It's not really much the amount of effort, like in regards to like the whole, but just I did a good deed for you. Do one for me back later.
I got you.
Doesn't have to be that same specific deed. Right? That's what I think true friendship really is. So there is no such thing as fake friends. People that were used by their friends, you weren't used. Well, technically, you guys used each other technically. You know what I'm saying? It just came as a surprise to you when they decided to end it. That's all it is. Your car insurance is now done. You paid your premium and now you don't got no more insurance. So what happens? What do? Yeah, I need some new insurance. So what do? Cut off that old insurance and get you some new insurance. That's what it should be to mean to get like cut off people and find new friends. But with that being said, Jared, when should you cut off friends? When should it be that you have nothing to do with them anymore? I want you to give the most common, the bare minimum, and like the most radical.
Okay, so the most obvious one is like if this person is just blatantly negative in your life. So with friendships, as you pointed out, it's give and take. You give a little something, sometimes they take a little something. Okay, but if it's constantly either they're just constantly every day, it's just either it's mentally there weighing you down every day. It doesn't have to be like they're telling you all the troubles. It could be just stuff they say or do every single day,
Yeah.
and you see that and you're like, damn, it's destroying you. Or maybe it is taken. Maybe this is they like I don't know. Shit, a dumb example. Every day they come over and borrow a cup of sugar, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, God damn, bro, I had to buy like 5 bags. I'm sick of this shit. If they're constantly just draining you, and like, I mean, a friendship is more or less supposed to equal out, but if it's
Yeah.
constantly just tipping more and more and more,
Yeah.
gotta cut it. It's not worth it.
Okay. Now,
You like,
is that more? See. Now, if it's like this, like I just said, like
hmm,
one more. At what level though? So this could be just communication itself. It could be I hit you up once a week to check on you. You hit me up once a year. You know what I'm saying? Do I cut them
hmm,
off because it's been once a year compared to my
yeah.
once a week?
So, I mean, as we talked about, there's levels. So like, I do have friends who it's like I'll hit up a few times a year.
Mm-hmm.
We're cool, and it's like, all right, that's fine. We can move on. And then there's some people who like they get kind of annoyed if you don't hit them up every now and then, and I'm like, okay, relax. All right, my bad. I
Okay.
apologize. Wasn't trying to upset you.
Okay.
So,
Mm-hmm. All right.
mm,
So okay, my biggest thing is when
mm,
you yourself, like as you said with the levels, like whatnot. I feel like the only reason you should cut people off is two things: betrayal
mm,
and I would say negative amount. It's kind of like what you said with this,
mm.
but it's more about is it hurting you? Is this hurting you?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If the difference is this and it's hurting you, I think that's when you should cut them off. That and betrayal, like I said. So betrayal, of course, being you put the trust in the person, they bashed your trust. Like they just took it and said, right? Because one of the biggest things about people is trust, right? Like trust, in my opinion, is easily, what is it? It's easily lost, hard to gain, right? So when I have my trust in you, right, I'm expecting you to, like, it's like a vault. Like I'm giving you this high value thing to keep safe. And instead of keeping it safe, you gave it to the world for anybody to take.
Mm.
So what happens is now I can't trust you with something that's safe anymore. And because now that trust is gone into the world, now it negatively affects me because now the next person I have to decide to give that same value to, I have to always think back at that one person who didn't take care of it. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to friendship, I think the biggest part is trustworthiness. And we know a couple of people throughout life, they'll switch up on you. And by switch up, I mean that everything is fine until they decide everything is not fine.
Mm.
Right? So, and it doesn't mean in regards to like we're acting like everything's fine. I'm talking about everything is fine until something happened, right? And sometimes it'll be an outside influence. Sometimes that happens. It could be jealousy. Sometimes could be just a simple incident, act of violence, anything like that. Right? This is what a switch up is. Switch up is basically when people start acting differently towards you, not because of your own doing. That's a switch up. Right? Now, somebody not hitting you up as much anymore, that's not a switch up. Okay, that if somebody hits you up less, that's not switching up.
I call that a life happens.
That's just life. You know what I'm saying? But if it's like I'm nice to you, now I'm mean to you, that's a switch up. If it's like I support you, now I'm belittling you, that's a switch up. Right? It's literally to take the personality you have given me and turn it around. That's all. Okay, it's not communication. It's not like that. Okay, communication is just called ghosting. All right, you just ghost them. You don't want to talk to them. You just ghost them. They act like you're not there. You're Casper. Okay. So with that being said, as well, then it comes down to rekindling. So when a friendship's lost, can it be found back anytime? Does it can you forgive a friend and be friends again? Will that friendship be the same? Um, what do you think happens? Now, I want to take this in consideration, Jared.
Mm.
I mean a friendship that ended, not a friendship that was postponed. Okay, so that means we said bye in high school, we're still cool. 20 years later, we say what's up. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about I
They
cut you
hurt
the
you.
fuck off. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you think? Can that be rekindled? Can people be forgiven? You know.
It depends on what kind of damage was done, honestly. Like, once again, there's levels. It could be like something like you told someone a secret. They're like, yo, I don't need you telling me. I'm just telling you this because I need someone to talk about. Cool. And they told your secret, betrayed your trust, might cut them off for a bit.
Mm.
Now, depending on how big of a secret it was, maybe you can rekindle it if they're like a sincere and they apologize to you. And it's like I didn't really mean to hurt you. At the time, I wasn't really thinking when I said it or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can probably rekindle it. Will it be the same? Maybe, maybe not. Once again, it depends on how much damage was done. Now, if it's something like it's like, hey man, yo, do you mind if I borrow your car? Like that's a big one to me. Like borrow my car. It's like, all right, bro, I'm trusting you. Cool. Shit happens. They total your car. All said and done, it's like, hey man, I need you to like say you're like, I need you to pay like my insurance premium, whatever. And they're like, nah, fuck that. I'm not paying that shit. And it's like, bro, you fucking totaled my car though. They're like, nah, whatever, bro. I'm not paying that. That I don't know. That's
Yeah.
probably a
Okay.
permanent.
You're right. You're right.
That's a permanent one.
Okay. Yeah. You know that kind of brings up the point. I'm gonna just go off the side with like loyalty
Mm,
and like gang members in prison and shit.
mm.
Your boy does a crime that's gonna have him 10 years in jail.
Mm.
Since you have no strikes, you will only serve 1 year in jail for him.
Mm.
They tell you all the details so you can get the story right and tell you to take the fall. They'll pay you back. Because if it's their third strike, I mean, let's not do the full third strike rule. Actually, no. They're going to do life in prison. It's their third strike. You can only serve 5 years. Let's go 5 years. That's more dramatic. So, with that being said, will you serve 5 years so your friend doesn't get life in jail? And mind you, you're innocent.
Mm.
Like, you didn't do nothing. What you doing?
I was kind of leaning towards it depends on what they did.
No.
No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
Nah, I'm not gonna go to jail for 5 years, bro.
Okay, and why?
One, I ain't do shit.
That's number
While
one.
you my homie, that was your dumbass fault.
Yeah.
Also, there's no way you could repay me for that. 5 years of my life while you out there having fun, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm telling you.
You could say I'm gonna pay you back and I'm gonna owe you. I doubt it.
Okay.
I doubt it. There's a limit to how much you should be willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Okay, now let's make it 1 year.
1 year? I'm still gonna say no.
2
just
weeks.
Because 2 2 weeks in prison? Oh, no, that'd be jail probably. Yeah, that'd be jail. 2 weeks in jail.
Be honest.
I think mentally I could probably do it, but in the long run, I keep thinking about what that would do to you potentially in the future. That being on your record.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say no because there could be some, like, you never know, right? It's like your dream opportunity comes up and they see that shit in it. A day?
A day.
24 hours. In jail? I could do a day. I think I could do a day.
You're gonna do a day?
I could do a day in jail.
You would do a day. You're gonna do it.
I could do a day in jail.
Okay. I'm gonna say fuck no.
No.
Fuck no. Fuck no to every single one. You know why?
Why?
Because if they were truly your friend and loyal, they wouldn't ask you to do it in the first place.
That's fair.
You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to like gang members and shit, they'll have their own peoples take a lesser charge, right? So that they get away scot-free because they fucked up multiple times. Right? People think that's loyalty. It's not loyalty. Right? Because loyalty, in my opinion, is both ways, right? You don't do anything that can harm me potentially. I don't do anything that can harm you potentially. We both support each other.
Gotcha.
Right? So if me and you are boys and you did something stupid to get your third strike, which means you did 2 other stupid things, right?
That's on you.
You wouldn't come to, if you were loyal to me, you wouldn't come to me and say, yo, risk your life for me in regards to this. Because even if it's 1 day in prison, Jared, guess what? Your ass still got a record. Oh, he was arrested for, like I said, it could have been something simple. He was arrested for drunk driving. He was arrested for drug possession. He was arrested for self-defense. But what's the self-defense when you just beat somebody up though?
Assault? No.
But like it's self-defense wise. Like, hey, they came at me with their fist, so I beat the shit out of them with a bat. Like that kind of thing. It's called self-defense attempted murder. I don't know.
I don't know.
It would still look. It would still fall under the self-defense thing, but I think a judge would not like.
If you go, I think that would be considered excessive.
Yeah, excessive force. There you go.
You have to, like, if someone comes at you. Well, no. Once again, I don't know, because like the law's kind of where it depends on the situation.
Yeah, but
once again, like with self-defense, like I think what's it called? I think it's those lines.
If I come at you with 2 come at me with a gun.
I think it's something.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're not supposed to come at me with a weapon. So like it would be self-defense. Like it could have been you were fighting me, you was beating me up. I grab a bat, bam, 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 bam. So they're gonna look at more of like I don't know what happened after the second strike. Like,
exactly.
Were they a threat anymore?
So, if you hit them once, it's like all right,
self-defense.
But if you hit him like 8 times, it's like, nah, bro, that's
But
that's excessive.
there is also a thing called what's the fit of rage one, crime of passion or some shit like that.
Crime and passion, yeah.
Yeah, so see, this it varies, but a loyal friend does not ask you to risk yourself in order to get them off free. They do not do that. But now let's go into loyalty. See, now we're transitioning to the relationship aspect. Exactly the 30-minute mark. What does it mean to be loyal in a relationship?
I mean, honestly, I would say a relationship is, I mean, it's basically the same as a friendship. It's just
Mm-hmm.
a little bit closer knit.
Uh-huh.
Especially if you're like married,
Yeah.
it's just you are now legally bound now.
Yeah. Like, here's one thing I always told people, college and all. I always told them as a guy, I said, when you look at a girl, right, when you get with a girl and you guys decide to be in a relationship and stuff, that should be like your best friend. Right. But here's the thing though, this is why it's funny. This is why I thought college was backwards with people. Everybody says they would date their best friend, but won't date their best friend. Exist. In regards to that, I mean, if somebody wants you, they gonna get you, right? They gonna go after you. If somebody wants you, ain't nothing stopping them from getting you, unless you like in a relationship and stuff like that. So you gotta respect you a little bit. But if somebody wants you, they're gonna get you. The concept of the friend zone is the way they think it is that both people want each other, they're just not doing it because they consider themselves friends. That's not it. Right? What people think is the friend zone is not the friend zone. It's called manipulation. It's lit. So this is how I view it. It's when somebody takes somebody that likes them and constantly, just little by little, every time, constantly tells them it's possible to end up together.
Well, just breadcrumbs.
Yeah, just breadcrumbs. You never get to the end of the trail, but it's just breadcrumbs. So anytime they feel like they want a partner or partner benefits, they leave them breadcrumbs. And then if you decide to leave those breadcrumbs alone, they're gonna drop bigger breadcrumbs. But they never gonna give you that loaf of bread though. You know what I'm saying? So that's not the friend zone though. That's not what I think a friend zone is. Right? That's just manipulation. Because a friend zone don't exist, in my opinion. It just doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Now, why don't we date our friends though? Because we're told it would ruin the friendship. Right?
Mm.
Now, let me tell you why that low key doesn't make sense. You guys are already friends. Right? You've already, that whole dating phase, that whole talking and dating phase and stuff like that, that has happened already. You know who the person is.
That's true.
Right? Now, the only difference is loyalty part and, of course, the sexual part. Right? Those are only two now. You know what happens if those two don't work out? You guys go back to being friends. But here's the thing, that loyalty part is the biggest part.
Mm.
You're disloyal. The reason why the disloyalty would ruin the friendship is because you not only were disloyal to me, but to who I am. Which means, even though we were friends, who I am was also your friend. So not only were you disloyal to the partner, but the friendship part of the partner too. You feel me?
Mm.
And that I think ruins the friendship. But if you were friends who take it a step further and decide to become something and it just doesn't work out, you guys break up, majority of those people are still friends today. Right? Because they took the time, I always say this in almost every of my videos, to build it up. They built a house with a foundation. I always put foundations first. Right?
Mm.
Friendship. Right? Second part, sexually active. Right? That's your first floor. Right? You already got a strong basement. That's your first floor. Right? Second floor, we're going, I don't know, sex, I guess. Right? Sex and shit. Third floor is like marriage and stuff. Right? If your house collapses when you try to build the third floor, the whole house is coming down except one part, the foundation. When you look at burnt fires and of houses and things like that, what's left? The foundation.
Foundation.
So all you got to do is view your relationship as a friendship. But if you don't view it as a friendship first, right? Because again, all you're doing is taking what you already exist in your life and making it stronger. So anything you deem a loyal friend would do in those situations is what you do in your relationship as well. You understand me?
I got
Now, will it affect you more though? Yes, because it's stronger. It's a stronger bond, right? So your friend not showing up when you guys make plans, that hurts you a little bit, right? It's like, damn, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, damn. But it doesn't really affect you long term. It's like, all right, we'll just remake it, right? When in your relationship, when your partner does it, like, damn. Like, damn, what?
you. Do me like that?
Like, we agreed to it, you know what I'm saying? Because you're more involved in it, you're more invested in that. Right. What we know about stocks, the more you're invested in it, the more you're paying attention to it, is it not? When it drops low,
You
you
feel that
feel that
shit.
shit. Yeah. Right. But if you just you dealing with like penny stocks and you putting like $1, it's like, oh, it dropped 10 cents. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Now guess what? Take that money back out. Money's still there, is it not? There you go. It may not be up that value that you put it at, but it's still there. Disloyalty is when, as if the company went bankrupt and the stock price went to zero.
Hmm.
That's disloyalty. Like, that's what happens. But if it hit its peak at, like, say 1,000, which is like the relationship part, it hit 1,000 and it couldn't get past 1,000, and it drops back down to like 800. It just dropped back down to 800. You didn't lose any money, right? You didn't lose anything. So now, Jared, how would you go about telling people being friends is the same as being in a relationship? Hmm?
I'll go back. I mean, I think I said it to my one friend when he was going to get married, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so nervous." I'm like, "Bro, nothing's really changing. The main thing that changes now is that one, you already know her,
Hmm?
great person, she's awesome, you love her, that's great.
Hmm?
Two, all you're really doing is just legally tying yourself to her. Other than
Okay.
that, you love her, you're loyal to her, you treat her well, you take care of her, she does the same to you. Nothing's changed.
Okay. Okay.
It's just
So,
legal. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I guess, I don't know,
okay.
just throwing like confetti on the top of it. But more or less, it's the same.
Okay. So with that being said, then,
Mm.
is it possible? Is it possible for people to go back to being friends, but why? Like, is it possible to date your friend, fail, and go back to things being the same, or can it go back to being the same, or is it stronger or weaker than before?
Once again, I think it depends on what went wrong. So, so damn, can it go back to normal? It can. I just don't know how to explain it. I'm trying to think about this because essentially what happened was when you tried to move to the relationship step, there was an incompatibility between you two that could not be overcome, which is why it did not work out.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, all I can really st- all I can really stick with is it depends on what happened, like what went wrong. Um, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm. No, that's petty. Damn, bro.
Hard to answer, right? Hard to answer.
Yes and no. It's a 50-50.
Okay, explain why then.
So I know it'd be, it's like, so there's loyalty in a friendship.
Hmm.
But then once you move to a relationship, I would say that that loyalty goes a little bit deeper. So for instance, like you're friends with your girl, right?
Hmm.
And it's like, all right, cool. We're friends. I'm a guy, you're a girl, whatever. But say one part of it was sexual monogamy. I'm the
Okay.
only one you can have sex with.
Okay.
They do everything else perfectly, but they can't do that. And it's like, okay, now say they don't cheat on you, right?
Uh-huh.
Like they didn't cheat on you, but it's like, hey, you went to this step, and they're like, nah, I can't do that. And
Okay.
you're like, all right. So then you can go back down here. It's like, okay, so we were good up until here. All right, that's fine. It won't work out. We can step down here. Now, if it comes to like you move up, relationship's good. Now, say they are terrible with finances. So like there's someone that like is always running up their credit cards and shit, right? So they're like always putting you in debt.
Uh-huh.
Eventually there's a limit to that. And it's like you can try and help them with that, like to try and get them to stop or improve them. But if that doesn't work out and then it falls apart from there, that might be harder to recover from.
Okay.
Because they've already, besides in your relationship, you now know it's like, oh well damn, I can't really trust them here. Because then if they get themselves into trouble, they're
Hmm.
probably gonna come to me with it. And I know they're just gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
So from there, going that back down to a friendship might not be possible because you see the potential risk that continuing to be friends with them possesses, contains, I
It
guess.
possesses, yeah.
Yeah, possesses.
All
So
right.
from there, you might not be able to come back from that.
Okay. Okay. So if you were to take the typical friends that try to date each other,
Hmm.
and it's just more like a we did it, failed. Is it stronger, weaker, or the same when they go back to being friends?
The answer.
I know my answer though.
What's your answer?
It's stronger. You know why it's stronger? Because as a friend, you don't get to see a certain side of people,
True.
right? You could this could be your best friend. They could be the most down to earth person and things like that. But in the relationships they have always been in, they could be a different person, right? For example, if you look at how many people complain about their relationships, how many of them do they talk about themselves being an issue? Not much.
It's never you,
Right?
right? You're perfect.
They never say that they're an issue, they're a trigger. I did this, so they did this. It's never that story. It's always that person, that person, that person, that person. Right? I'll give you an example. Not a real life example, of course, but I'll give you an example. Actually, can I give it? I can give a real life example. I can give a
Okay.
real life example. Okay. You and your person, right? I can't
Mm,
say girl or dude because again, people have preferences. But you and your person communicate every day.
got
You then decide not to communicate one day. Maybe you got caught up and things like that.
you. Okay.
So the person is like, "Hey, what's going on? Why aren't talk today or something like that?" You then get mad because you're thinking like, "Okay, this person doesn't trust me. Like I'm annoyed now. Right? Like I'm sorry, I was busy," and that person's like, "You ain't that busy." Like you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Ah, that's a
So
petty argument, but
so yeah, it's petty.
it
It's
is petty.
petty.
It's petty.
So now you're you're mad because they're trying to question what you're doing. They're mad because you broke something that was often with
Mm,
no explanation for it. Right?
okay.
Like for example, if you're somebody who got busy all summer, then you gotta like say what you were doing. You feel me? Like you
Mm,
can't just be like I was busy. So when that person tells their peoples, they ain't gonna say what they said and they did. They're gonna
mm,
talk about what you said and what you did. You can go tell your peoples. You're gonna say what they said they did. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to relationships, it's oftentimes a one sided story when it comes to complaining. So when you're thinking about, you know, friendships and stuff like that, friendships are always about a two-way communication,
Mm.
right? Because you know why? Because nobody wants in a friendship. There's a lot of leeway to be at fault. Like you're more prone to say sorry to a friend than you are to a girlfriend, right? You know why? Because you don't have to worry about that sorry being brought up some way somehow, and
Mm.
but with your partner, that sorry just means you guys had an argument or you were wrong, which means that sorry is going to be brought up in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't even have to be a word. It could just be a random memory. It's a random memory. Where it's like, you know what I mean? Like they don't gotta tell you. They don't gotta tell you, but that's just how it goes. So when I look at friendships that just relationships that just fail from friendships, I feel like if it's just like you guys just aren't compatible, then it's like, okay, that's cool, but now I understand her or his or they, um, how they are in a relationship. So now when they come to me with the issues, I can now ask, what did you do? You get what I'm saying? I can now know when they're in a relationship again, certain things that they do, and I can ask for the whole story now. I already know half of it now. As a friend, you don't know the half. You only know the perspective. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, and it's funny because all my exes are friends. They, I think, besides one, every single ex was a friend of mine, right? And most, if not all, the breakups were just because of long distance,
Mm.
right? So when you think about that, I'm still cool with them, right? Ain't nothing wrong with that. You feel me? Because we just friends. Understand me? And I, of course, tell my next partner after that, hey, are you cool that I'm friends with my ex?
Mm.
And it's not like, yo, I'm gonna hit you up at like 2 a.m. Cool. You know what I'm saying? But it's more like,
We talk.
yeah, just hope you're doing okay. All right. You know what I'm saying? I have to tell my next partner that I'm friends with none of mine. Yeah, Kev, you on? I know Kev, but you see, here's the thing though, Kev, you didn't start out. Yeah, I can't see it's Kevin, so I gotta discuss that with him after. But you know what I'm saying? Kev, don't bring that up, bro. I know the song and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about that later. I got you. But yeah, now again, if it's disloyal to you, or of course the breakup of things, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the friendship ain't gonna be the same. If anything, you probably either lost the friendship or it's just weaker. It's just more like, yeah, like I'm a care for you. Just I'm not gonna. I'm just not gonna hit you up every day. I will see how you're doing next week. Like that's what consider a weaker friendship. You guys are cool, just not as cool. You know what I'm saying? So Kev's a fool. So, like I said, with that being said, bro, it's just the fact that friendships, in my opinion, I'm considered old school for doing that too, which is weird. I think it's just natural. I think friendships are like building blocks, right? And then the relationship is just when you get past a certain level. That's it. So the whole point of stairs is to go up and down, right? If if you just want to do this, that's fine. Establish that you just want to stay friends. If you want to go to a relationship, don't just fucking jump all the way the fuck up and then end up on the top stair and then get mad when you can't get the fuck back down to figure out shit, right? Okay, first floor or the foundation was finding out who the person is, how they are, and things like that. Okay, so you can't fucking jump from the third floor to the basement and expect your legs not to break. Okay, that's number one, right? And now you tired, right? Because you, in order to get back down there, you have to either jump or walk back down, which means now you tired, and when it's time to go the fuck back up, now you know you just can't. Now you want to take it a little bit slower. You know what I'm saying? Because and then worst of all is when you go back down in that said basement, and it's not what you expected. Okay, it could you was expecting a pool table with some arcade games and all that stuff, and then
Pipe
what
burst
you
in the basement.
found was a dead rat named Juju. All right, your laundry all over the floor, and I don't know why, but a broken heater and a broken Heineken bottle. That's what you found downstairs. Now, guess what? You pissed because you spent all that time at the third floor trying to get downstairs, and you found that they living shitty. So what do? Now you mad. What are you gonna do? You either gonna do two things: run the fuck back upstairs and hope to God this house don't tumble down, or you gonna leave the house. You know what I'm saying? So, my advice to people, bro, no cap, be friends. Right? That whole point of you don't know what's in front of you unless you look. Like most people don't know what's in front of them until it's too late and all that stuff. Just look around and shit. Right? I'm not vouching that you're gonna find potential people. I'm not vouching that. I'm just saying it's good to look around you first and then start going to people's houses. Okay. Okay, look in your neighborhood. See what's in your neighborhood. You think you know everything about your neighborhood, but you don't. Right? I've been in my neighborhood for 25 years. 25 years. I've been in this neighborhood. I've been in only five of their houses, which means I don't know the sixth house. Right? I know they come. Our neighbor sometimes comes out here, and when it's snowing, they'll bring their snowblower and blow our snow. I never been in their house though. All I know, they serial killers. I would never know, right? So
I said serial killer, bro.
you know what I'm saying? So you would never know what's in people's houses unless you go in them, right? So, like I said, the reason why me and my exes were all friends is because I looked around. Like I'm just looking like, oh, okay, that's my friend. Like she's cute too. Like you know what I'm saying? Let me look around. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how it is. Now I'm not saying one specific gender does something more than the other. I'm just saying, men, there's a reason why we jump with parachutes and mattresses on the floor and shit. Because we're not dumb. We're daring. We're not dumb. Okay? So I'm just saying though, like you guys have to consider when you're at least as you get into adulthood, right? Look around you, see what's around you. Nothing's around you, then leave. Go on to something else. Something is around you. You don't want to leave and come back and now somebody else owns that house. You don't want to do that. That's what happens in just like in the house market. Somebody else owns it. Somebody else benefiting from it. House value's going up. Now your ass can't afford the house if they decide to sell it. so, I'm king analogy, fam. Now, so with that
They
being
cut the
said,
grass. No, they don't cut the grass. Damn.
so with that being said, that's basically the stepping stone of what a friendship should consist of, and then the building blocks to a relation, at least a healthy relationship. Um, of course, not what you do in a relationship. It's just more about the fundamentals of what communication, all that stuff. But it's just more like the fundamentals, and then the comparison of friendship to relationship, and also why a friendship should not all friendships, but why a relationship should be built off of a friendship rather than a relationship just being built and then having to worry about everything else after. I want to do that. Why? Because a lot of people getting their heart broken because they don't know the partners they're hooking up with. So with that being said, Jared, any last words for the peoples?
Shrimp on the Barbie. That's what we go with that.
The fuck you say?
You take shrimp, you skewer them, and you put them on the Barbie.
That
And you
reminds me,
roast
I'm
them.
buying crab tomorrow. So
Dungeonies?
You already know, bro. I'm telling you, the crap's good. All right, so appreciate everybody for coming through. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we had a couple views on Facebook, so that's what's up.
You had Spider Crab, bro?
No.
It's expensive, but yo.
No, fuck that. Mine is the American crab, bro. The big one and shit.
All right, those are delicious.
Bro, at the store down the street, it's like $5 a crab, bro. So I just be in there, got like a $40 on me. Give me like 8, right? Get the big pot. Man, I'm about to make a whole seasoning video for that, bro. But yeah, yo. Appreciate y'all for coming through. You already know how it is. We're going to try to start streaming the podcast. Again, we just had a lot of things happening at one time. So I appreciate y'all for coming. Yeah, we out. Said fucking Barbie.